Hello, you lovely people. Welcome back again for another session, another little session. I'm on my own actually now. My wife and son have gone to, and I'm not smiling because I think it's a good thing. I'm just smiling because I'm just smiling. I'm a smiling type of a man. But my wife has gone to a funeral down in Lilloy, which is somewhere that I don't really want to go actually, especially right now. So she's gone there for a few days, so I'm on my own. So I'll be doing lives and all kinds. I would imagine I will be anyway, just to fill my time. But anyway, that's not the topic. The topic is about having regrets, when you move to the Philippines. And I'm saying the Philippines because that's where I am. And I haven't got any regrets, but I know many foreigners do. And I can understand why, because the Philippines, if you don't come around to the way of life here, then you can't adapt to it in a reasonable way. I mean, I will never adapt 100%. I simply can't. But to a degree where, I've adapted to a degree where most things don't get on my nerves. Some things do, but not a lot. But there are some foreigners that they simply can't adapt. And I think if you start questioning yourself on a continual basis, questioning yourself as, why am I here? Is this person that I'm with the right person I'm with? And you're self-doubting yourself, no matter how long you've been here, then maybe you're making yourself unhappy, aren't you? Because you are self-doubting yourself, you're questioning yourself. So that means you aren't contented, right? You've got things going on in your head, which perhaps if you weren't questioning yourself, then you'd be happy, wouldn't you? So then you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. So I think if you're making yourself unhappy by being here, then maybe it could be a time to think, yeah, I think I might have done the wrong thing, or I might not be in the right situation. Because it could be the situation that some foreigners get themselves into, where they could be with a Filipina, and the Filipina isn't exactly right for them, and they're doing some things that the foreigner is not happy about, and you might be thinking, is this Filipina right for me? Well, that's easily fixable, isn't it? You just move away, or you just get, you move away from that situation, or you leave that person, and you stay on your own, or you find someone else. There is no shortage here of fixing yourself up with a date if that's what you want. So that part is easily fixable. I think the part that is probably going to be a little bit more difficult to fix is if you can't adapt to this situation, to this environment. That's going to be the challenge. And I simply think, and it's just, to me, it's black and white. It's black and white. If you can't adapt, then you're going to be continuously making yourself unhappy. It's true, isn't it? So then it is time to actually make that move or do something about it. Because I'll tell you something, and this is me, and I've always been like this. There's two things that I do in a relationship if it didn't work out. One, I would never go back. So let's just say we had not a disagreement, because that happens all the time, doesn't it? You can't just leave because of a simple disagreement. Let's just say your Filipina threw you out, or she says, look, I don't want to be with you no more. And you think, well, what have I done wrong? I would simply think, oh, okay, fair enough. And I would go, no matter what hurt he caused me. If I built a house, if I hadn't built a house, I would go, because that's the sort of person that I am. I wouldn't stay in a place where there was animosity, or where I was thinking that I wasn't welcome there no more. I would leave, but there is another stipulation that I would say is, when I walk out that door, there's a song, what's the song called? I can't remember, but there's a song about that. I wouldn't come back. It's very, very simple. I'm black and white like that. If they throw me out or they don't want me there, I would never go back again. Never, 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 never. Because it can happen again. It can happen again. But generally, I think most foreigners are damned happy here. From what I can see on some YouTube channels and some comments that I get on my channel about foreigners actually living here and actually loving it here and saying it's the best move that they've ever done. But also there is some that are questioning themselves for being here, and that is the ones that perhaps shouldn't be. You know, I think if you question yourself continuously, it's going to drive you mental, isn't it? You're going to go cranky. You really are, and your emotions will be here, they'll be there, it'll be like a roller coaster of emotions, won't it? Because some days might be all right. Some days, I mean, if you're with a Filipina and she's good one day, then you'll be good. But if she's bad again one day, then again, you will be bad. So your emotions are up and down. And God almighty, I don't want anything like that. I wouldn't put myself through it. And of course, when you're like that, it's reflecting all around you. You know, the people who you live with. If you're in a down and depressing mood all the time, then that's going to reflect around you. The only thing is, he's a miserable old foreigner, isn't he? You know, a crank. But so, get yourself out of that situation. Sympathy is not... It's like Chris, who's gone now, who got deported. A British guy. And he got behind on his visas for a long time. And a few of my subscribers know this guy. And he was living in Dipolog City here. And he got behind on his visas by about 7 or 8 years. Didn't pay him. Spent the money. And when he got drunk, he was crying. He used to cry all the time with his situation. And I said to him, look, I said, you're a victim of circumstance, right? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, the circumstance you put yourself in. So you've caused yourself to be a victim by not paying your visas. And he said, yeah, but it's not as simple as that. I said, well, it is. It is. If you didn't pay your visas, you could have gone to immigration and you could have asked for a motion of reconsideration and started the ball rolling to update your visas. But he didn't. He just carried on. And the longer it got, the more untouchable he thought he was, because he thought, well, I've been here for so long now, they won't chuck me out the country, I've got a girlfriend, I've got children here. Makes no difference. It makes no difference. And he was a victim of circumstance, of his own doing. And I didn't have sympathy for him, because it wasn't so he was robbed and they took all of his money or anything like that, and they took his passport. It wasn't anything like that. He got himself in a situation, and many foreigners do get themselves in situations here through their own doing. Many don't. We understand that. But many do, and the ones who do, I haven't got any sympathy for them whatsoever. Dog barking, the chickens will be, the roosters will. What I tell you, right on cue, eh? So, I think it does take a special kind of personality and character to be able to put up with the things that we do put up with here, and I think Filipinas are the last thing to worry about. Unless I've just got like a placid and, a good one. You're a passive Filipina, because she never moans about anything. She never really thinks about anything, because I'm the one who does all of that, because I'm the one who provides for everything. So, I mean, she hasn't got anything worrying to think about. So, she never moans at me about this or that. And I don't know about you guys, but when you was in your own country, or some of you might still be there and you're married or you got a girlfriend, if I want to go out here, and I could say to my wife, if she was here, Mira, tonight I'm going out with friends. Okay, Steve, okay. I mean, I would be monitored on how long I was out for, and after a couple of hours, I guarantee I'll be getting messages. How you doing? Where you at? When are you planning to come home? But I would still be allowed to go out, no problem at all. There wouldn't be a big hoo-ha about it. But back in the West, many people are in relationships where they might say, can I go out? And they might say, no, you can't go out. Why? or they might kick up a stink about it. Why do you want to go out for, But here, and I'm just saying, I don't know if it's my Filipina, my wife, not my Filipino, she doesn't belong to me, obviously, but my wife, I don't know. But I think women in the Philippines are generally much more easygoing, and I can't see the problems that people have. Like with this tampon thing, my wife rarely gets it, but when she does get it, I look at that as a blessing, because then I've got a day or two of her being quiet, and I can do what I want, and I can go out when I want, and she won't say anything to me because she's in that tampon. So that doesn't bother me, but she doesn't get in it that often, but I think in all the time I've been with her, maybe once or twice, but I took advantage of that, because I think, if you're not talking to me, I'm not going to sit here for 2 days or a day with no speaking. I'm going out drinking with my mates, my Filipino mates, and I did, and I come back and she's all right. But on the whole, I think it's damned easy living here for someone like me, because I can adapt to my surroundings. I'm like a chameleon. I'm like a chameleon. I can adapt to wherever I am, and I find it damned easy. And the foreigners who struggle here, as much as I find it easy, I can understand how they do find it difficult. Because we've all said it, and I've said it many times: the patience and the no sir, we haven't got that, or no more sir, we don't stock that, out of stock, when you go to the shops for things, and maybe the communication misunderstanding somewhere down the line. But my Visaya is getting better and better, and I can understand more and more, and I can actually reply more and more. So I think the more you do here to help yourself, like learning basic Visaya, where I am, or Bisaya, or if you're up north, Tagalog, or whatever it is, whatever dialect it is in the region you're in, learn a bit of it, because it's good to learn as well. I sometimes enjoy learning, not from what my wife teaches me, because she's a bad teacher. She doesn't. I say, Mate, what does this mean in Visaya? And she'll, and I think, I wish I didn't ask her, because now you've confused me even more. So I just learn it on my own, and I find it more enjoyable now in my free time to do 15-20 minutes of learning, and then I will go to my wife and I will talk to her with what I've learned, and she will talk back to me, and I'll say, is their pronunciation right? Yeah, it's good, Stephen. It's good. Like Kinsa ang Emamatay, which means who has died, and I, then she will say my grandmother, and do you know what I mean? Simple things, but it works, and I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy learning new things as well, especially this language here, because it makes me feel good when I'm out with some Filipinos and I'm having a drink, and then they are talking, and then I will answer something and say, oh, you understand? I say, gamay lang, and they say, oh, good, and I say, yeah, slowly, hinay, and it's good to do that, and it gives you a little bit of excitement as well. But getting back to the people who have regrets of moving, this is why I've said to people on my channel that don't give up everything in your own country to actually come here. Even if you've been here several times and you think it's all hunky-dory, it can change. Your feelings can change. And if we have family back in back in our own countries, which most of us have, most of us are here because we've had broken marriages, broken relationships. Because if we were still married, we wouldn't be here. We'd still be in our countries, right? True? Or the majority of us, or unless the ones who's married a Filipino in the country of where you are, and then sometimes they come back here to retire. Brilliant. But we leave behind a lot in our home countries, and we really do. We leave behind like our grown children, which I think is a very, very hard thing to do. And the longer the time goes on that you are away from them, the contact gets less and less and less. And it is, it is hurtful. And that can be, like it pulls on you. It pulls. But that's only one instance. Friends, the friends that you had, again, less contact. It becomes almost non-existent. And it really does. And that can affect, because although I've got friends here, like I haven't got friends here like I did in England. Like, my friend James, my friend Craig in England, they they were very two close friends. And I still class them as close friends. We don't have very much contact anymore, but I could guarantee I could phone up now even. And what time would it be there? I don't know, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning or something. No, 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that. They would answer, Steve, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay, mate. How are you doing? So it does get less and less. And I think if you're moving here and you've been here for 6 months, then I think it'll start hitting home after you've been here for that amount of time, because that's when you'll start missing them more and more, because the contact gets less and less and less. So there are lots of reasons why people regret moving here. I think the one thing that you shouldn't make it as a regret is if you're with a woman and it hasn't worked out. That's by the by. It's neither here nor there. Yes, you'd be hurt and upset, and you might have invested something into that relationship, and you've lost something out of that relationship. But it doesn't warrant staying there and making yourself unhappy, does it? When you question yourself, saying, God, should I be here? Does this woman really want me here? Or listen, if I had them feelings, I would be gone. I would be the first one out the door. Even here, anywhere in the world, if the person I was with didn't want me there, and I found myself questioning myself about it, I'd leave. Because all the time you're there, you're putting yourself through it, aren't you? You're never getting over it, because it's a daily thing. It's a daily thing that you're thinking. Easy to fix that. Just go. Leave what you've built. If you have built, you might just be renting a place, but just leave it. Start again. Life is too short. And it is, especially when you're getting older, When you get to our age, you've had the best years of your life. I mean, the healthiest years of your life. That's gone. Now, we become more frail. We become more weaker. Like it or not, it's true. It's true. The aches and pains start coming. You don't need an ache and pain here, do you? You don't want to turn yourself cranky over a woman, especially. God almighty, never. So pick yourself up, dust yourself down, give your head a shake, pull yourself together. Don't fall apart. That's what I'm trying to say. Pull yourself together and don't fall apart if you're feeling like that. There's always a way out of it. There's always a way out of that regret. But you've got to figure out what that regret is. I mean, if it's like a regret where you can't adapt, then that's it. You're probably finished here. But if it's because of a woman or because of a situation that you're in, you can get round that. You can get round it. And that's all I'm going to say today. And I'm speaking do you know what? My wife is gone. And I'm not going to be doing anything, really. I'm just going to do a few lives, I think. I might do a live tonight. Because I'm able to, aren't I? My little boy's not here to distract me. So, hey, that's it. And people, wherever you are, take good care of yourselves. And let's just hope that this crisis that's going on in the world right now with the economy and especially here in the Philippines, with the gasoline problem and the habal drivers and the jeepney drivers are unable to continue doing their jobs and feeding the kids. If you think you're in a bad situation, think of these, especially when you have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. Are you going to feed them lot? People, listen, take good care. I'm over and out. Bye-bye.